Uganda needs effective strategies to address the complex poverty which is part of a global battle, human-induced, climate change, international debt and financial crisis, and support national economic reforms. But all require budget funding, which renowned economic Professor Sachs says that Uganda must borrow to finance this development agenda. The Economist proposes that Uganda needs to acquire long-term loans that require repayment for not less than 30 years.
Keep your budget under control. If you remain poor, that's not our problem. Our problem only comes if you default. So better not to borrow, stay poor, children aren't in school, no health coverage. That's okay. Just don't default and don't get into high inflation.
Professor Sachs says parish development model could be good because it fulfills the sustainable development goals.
Every household needs a light bulb for the kids to study. Every household needs electricity for cooking, so you're not chopping down the forests.
Professor Sachs says Uganda needs to make use of all opportunities available, such as the East African Community Market and Africa Free Trade Area for development.
At the beginning that I'm going to leave the private sector part. What's the public sector responsibility, aside from good policy and an enabling environment, is skilled workforce and physical infrastructure.
The area of investment for Uganda needs to target education, health, agriculture, industry, and ICT. The Prime Minister Nabbanja says that Uganda will tap into Professor Sachs' experience for its development.
It says we borrow as much as we can, as long as these loans are long term, and as long as the money is put to the good use, and as long as, because it says in 30 years Uganda will be a developed country and we shall be able to pay all these loans at ease. And this will be a stimuli.
Ministers and permanent secretaries made that case at the meeting.
I'm keen to engage with you, given your global experience and knowledge in financing and implementing of SDGs, on how we can mobilize financing in an appropriate and a sustainable manner.
The country digital skilling, awareness and developing and implementing the national digital skill information framework.
The activities that are done, and we greatly think that other areas should be given priority.
And the purpose of the parish development model is to give you some kickstart fund, put it in your economic enterprise at your home level so that you can feed your home.
The loans in health don't come so easily. They only come when they are concessional loans, which are rare.
Right now, the value attached to it is actually not there. And I think with the Ministry of Finance, we are now going into natural capital accounting so that the value of the natural resources are appreciated and factored into the development.
Ugandan Government, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development and Secretary to Treasury, says Uganda is managing its debt well and was happy to learn that Professor Sachs is recommending more borrowing to Uganda.
Here in Uganda, our debt is quite well structured. Replacement to remain politically correct is what we are emphasizing now, plus export promotion. How do we produce for the export, especially in the African region?
Professor Sachs is in Uganda at the invitation of the Prime Minister Nabbanja to discuss strategies of accelerating Uganda's development agenda. Shaidat Nasakum, UBC News.